All right, what's up, YouTube? This is BoxingWave, and Tony Yoka and Filip Hrgovic are supposed to be fighting for a title eliminator, IBF title eliminator. Officially, like this is supposed to be the real title eliminator because we had some confusion with that recently with the Charles Martin Luis Ortiz fight, which that was supposed to be for a title eliminator. I don't know how. I don't know how Charles Martin got there because this whole title eliminator situation started early last year with Michael Hunter was supposed to fight Filip Hrgovic for the title eliminator last year, a year ago, like earlier in the year. And Michael Hunter turned it down, ended up going with Triller, right? Ended up going, he's saying that he was making more money. He fought someone that none of us cared for. But that's how that whole thing went down. And Filip Hrgovic has just been in that position. They try to recently make fights with other people. Ortiz didn't want the fight. He beat Charles Martin. Ortiz didn't want the fight. Who else did they have? So you had Hunter, you had Ortiz. They tried to grab Joseph Parker because he was in the rankings. It seemed like everyone that was in the rankings turned the fight down. All right. So then you have Tony Yoka, who's in the contender level now. Wouldn't call him a prospect anymore. All right. But he's around the same ballpark as far as professional experience as Filip Hrgovic. He's on the come up, just like Filip is as well. And he agreed to take the fight, which is cool. And there's actually more people on that duck list for Hrgovic. No one wanted the fight. There's more people on that list. I just can't remember them all. It had to be at least like 8 fighters that just didn't want to fight this dude, you know? So with all that being said, these guys are set to fight. And I like the fight because there's history with this fight. These guys met in the Olympics, all right? They met as amateurs. And Tony Yoka was the, 2016 Olympic gold medalist, all right, heavyweight. And I believe he beat Joe Joyce in the finals, but Tony Yoka beat Filip Hrgovic before that. Now, I've seen both of those fights. And look, I actually think Tony Yoka lost both of those fights. All right? But it's the Olympics. It's the amateurs. Things can be different as pros. All right? But I personally seen those fights before. Maybe I have to go back and watch them again because I haven't seen them recently. I kind of watched them when I first started hearing about these two. But I haven't seen them recently. But I thought Hrgovic did enough to win. And I also think Joe Joyce did enough to win. And I believe Joe Joyce and Hrgovic, I watched those two fight in the amateurs as well. And Joe Joyce won that fight. All right. So anyway, yeah, I like the fight. I think the styles match well. You know, both dudes can crack. You got Hrgovic, who's more of the boxer between the two. He's lighter on his feet. I think he's more, I think he puts more use to his jab, you know, with the setups, more of a feints well. I compared him to Vladimir Klitschko, you know, the way he uses his lead hand to kind of control everything. And then you have Yoka, who's more of a flat-footed fighter, more probably physically strong. I don't know if he hits harder. I know they both can punch. But he's a more flat-footed fighter that, you know, keeps a tight, high guard, comes straight forward type of fighter. But if he gets you to the ropes, he lets off everything. He dumps the magazine on you on the ropes, all combinations to the body, and that's where you don't want to be. So it was a good matchup. You know, they're both fresh. They're not as far as a Joe Joyce, even though they're all coming in like kind of together. Joe Joyce is further ahead. He's fought better contenders. He's more proven than these two. These two have had tough times getting top fights though. So it's good that they're fighting each other because they're both dangerous for each other. A loss in this fight for either one of them could be a minor setback, you know? They're both like prospects at this point, but they're at the contender stage. And, you know, a loss can set them back a little bit, you know? It's like when Joshua and Dillian White were fighting each other when they were both undefeated, you know, not for any titles. I think it was for the British title. And they were both dangerous because there were history there. And, you know, Joshua was the star at the time. I mean, Dillian White was known, but Joshua was the star. He was the star. And, you know, it was risky to put Joshua in there with someone that had previously beat him in the amateur. So I feel like this situation, you know, not on a bigger scale, but this situation is a little similar because a loss here for either one can set them back. But a win, once we clear up all this stuff with Undisputed and all these, you know, Usyk, Joshua, Fury, White, all this situation with them, these guys could be, you know, sitting back waiting for their title opportunity. And I don't think they're going to get it either, you know, right away. But the IDF is pretty strict usually, all right? They slip up sometimes as well, but it just, you know, when boxing, being that boxing is so corrupt, you want to put yourself as many great positions as possible. You might not get the title shot immediately, even when you're the mandatory, but at least you're there in line. Yes, all these guys duck Filip Hrgovic, all right? But now you got an opponent, and this is going to be a title eliminator. And the whole Ortiz-Charles Martin thing, that's done. Like, we're done with that now. Ortiz is they're probably setting him up to fight Andy Ruiz, possibly. You know, I don't really know. I did speak on that before. We just got to wait and see what's happening to that. But this is a real title spot, you know. And there's other mandatories because Usyk holds 3, but this is a good position you want to be at. You know, so a win for either one is good. Filip is obviously, he's been there in the higher as far as the rankings. But Tony, if he's able to pull off this win, if he's able to pull it off, you know, he'll be in position, you know. Just got to wait and see if they're going to get the title or if they're going to get the title shot. We got to just wait and see. But I'm leaning towards Hrgovic. I tweeted this the other day. I think he just has a little bit more to offer than Tony. I think if Tony can keep that pressure up and catch Hrgovic later down the line, then he can win. But I think I like the skill set of Hrgovic more. Plus, he has the power, the timing. He's going to be able to move. Normally, he's just like recently, he's just been kind of walking everybody down. But I've seen him fight on a back foot. I've seen him, you know, set traps and counter. Tony's more of a guy that likes to come forward a little bit. Yes, he can move a little bit. I've seen him move, but I think Hrgovic is better all around. I think his skill set, his technique is a little bit better than Tony. All right, and I'm leaning towards him getting a win for now. I will do a breakdown at some point after I do some film study, but this based off what I know off the top, I'm leaning off Hrgovic, all right? So anyway, subscribe to the channel, share the video, like the video. I'll see you guys on the next one.